welcome back to another review in Megan's Adventures in Reading. And today I will be reviewing Better Together by Christine Riccio, and I cannot fangirl about this book enough. This book gives like the best elder millennial vibes. So let's set the scene, shall we? So we have Jamie, and she lives in California with her dad, and she wants to do comedy. She wants to do stand-up, and she has a 10-minute set, and she bombs hard, right? So she gets home, and her grandmother's like, hey, you know what? There's this yoga retreat. I think you should go on it. And because your dad's mad at you because you keep messing around and can't get it together, and so he's not paying for your apartment, so you gotta move back in here. So you should go on this retreat and really think about what you want to do with your life. And she's like, fine. Okay, part one. Then we have Siri over here living in New York with her mom. She's a former ballet dancer because she was injured, and you'll find out more about her injury in the book. But she basically can't dance anymore. And so she also gets told by her grandfather, hey, why don't you go on this yoga retreat, kind of think about what you want to do with your life since you can't dance anymore. And she's like, fine, I'll go. Okay, so our two girls, Jamie, Siri, they're together at the retreat. And all is going well. And then they run into each other. And Siri loses her mind. She freaks out, is screaming, and runs out of the shower room, right? And we're like, what is going on? And then we find out, and this is not really a spoiler because you need this information. We find out that they are actually sisters. And their parents divorced when Siri was really young. And Siri does not really remember Jamie. There's some stuff in there I'm not going to give away. But Jamie remembers Siri. And they spend the camp together, reconnecting and all that. And then Jamie is like, we should parent trap our parents and switch places. Because they're not twins, but they look a lot alike. And for years, people always thought they were twins because they're really close in age. So she was like, we should switch our appearances, parent trap our parents, and call them on this BS of keeping us apart for the past 15 years and you basically forgetting about me. And Siri's like, okay. So they go on a final morning hike. And this is where the magic happens. So I would describe this book as a Parent Trap meets Freaky Friday. But the Freaky Friday is a little bit different than the show, than the original Freaky Friday. But it's the best way to describe it for myself anyway. We also have we have Jamie's best friend in California. We have a counselor that they met at the camp, who Jamie is kind of like, ooh, I kind of like you, but no, I don't want to, because I have emotional baggage. And so when they do switch, and there's a glamour would be the best way I feel to describe it. And this is not a spoiler. There's a glamour where they look in the mirror and they see the other person, and anybody that they're interacting with actually sees the other person. But they look at themselves and they still see themselves. So Jamie looks at Jamie and sees Jamie, but everybody else looks at Jamie and is seeing Siri. So it's definitely a little magic. And it's just a really great story of these sisters learning about each other in kind of a Parent Trap Freaky Friday kind of way, and learning about themselves also. And I just loved it. It was so great. So I highly recommend it. Go check out Better Together by Christine Riccio.